Many houses throughout the world go through some sort of change over the years. It's only natural. For example, styles of decor change, and things that were once trendy and modern can become tacky and gaudy 10 years later. In other cases, houses undergo huge renovation either because upgrades were necessary or for aesthetic reasons. The homes in this video, however, sat untouched for decades. As a result, these houses are now amazing time capsules and give us a unique look into the past. Number 10. Chicago, Illinois, USA. Untouched since 1956. In 2010, Nathan Chandler, a furniture collector in Chicago, bought the home featured here. For reasons unknown, the house had been sealed off in 1956. Amazingly, the kitchen in the house was never used and was left in pristine condition. The very pink kitchen has an electric stove and oven, complete with the original operator's manual. The fridge is tiny and hung like a cabinet among the cupboards. Finally, in order to load the dishwasher, you need to pull it out like a drawer, and the inside looks more like a laundry machine than a dishwasher. The dishwasher also has a vintage box of finish inside it. Chandler sold the house in 2015 for an undisclosed price. Number 9. Palm Springs, California, USA. Untouched since 1969. If you're looking for a home that would make Liberace sick with envy, this one in Palm Springs, California may be just what you're after. Built in 1969, it's had 2 owners, and the only thing that one owner changed was the kitchen. Otherwise, it looks like it's ready for a wild swingers party. Everything in the house was custom built, including a magenta and rose-colored canopy bed in the master bedroom and symmetrical semicircle couches that surround an oversized coffee table in the living room. There's wood paneling in the den, of course, which also has a wet bar with a mirror backsplash. It also has a beautiful pool which can be seen from multiple rooms. The only major downfall besides the questionable color scheme is the carpeted bathroom, which is probably going to be an issue for mold. The house went on the market in March 2016 with an asking price of $885,000. Number 8. Palm Springs, California, USA. Untouched since 1962. We're not sure what it is about Palm Springs, but apparently the residents hate changing their houses. This home was built on designs by architect John Launder and commissions by famed interior designer Arthur Elrod. Elrod designed and decorated the house, which has 4 bedrooms, 4.5 bathrooms, a pool, and sits on 0.37 acres. Elrod didn't live in the house for very long. He commissioned the construction of another house around the same time and chose to live there instead. So the house was purchased in 1962 by a friend of Elrod who kept the design intact throughout the years. As a result, the house, which is built into a mountainside, looks like something out of a movie from the 1960s or early 1970s. In fact, the home was featured in the James Bond classic Diamonds Are Forever. In 2013, the house went up for sale with an asking price of $2.195 million. Number 7. Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Untouched since the 1960s. If the Easter Bunny was real and lived in a house, we're guessing it would look very much like this one. Located in Toronto, this place has pastel colors everywhere. This includes the mint green living room and the pink kitchen, which still has a rotary phone, which is also a pastel pink color. The basement is wood paneled because what else would it be? In 2014, the 96-year-old woman who lived there for 72 years put the house up for sale for $699,000. That isn't actually bad considering how pricey the Toronto housing market is. We should also point out that the price did not include the pastel furniture, which obviously is a bummer. Number 6. Los Angeles, California, USA. Untouched since 1954. In the early 1950s, Albert P. Martin, a commercial architect, and his wife Gloria, an artist, moved to Los Angeles. They not only designed a home that would eventually become a time capsule, they also helped to build it. According to family stories, the couple installed the beams in the house themselves. They also designed the decor and simply never changed it. After the house was finished in 1954, the Martins raised 3 children there. Albert died at the age of 88 in 2012. Gloria passed away a year later. She was 85. The house went up for sale in 2014 with a list price of $1.6 million. Number 5. Ryton-on-Dunsmore, Warwickshire, UK. In the 1940s, Jack and Audrey Newton moved into their 9-bedroom Queen Anne-style farmhouse in Ryton-on-Dunsmore, Warwickshire with their parents. The brother and sister never left the house, nor did they marry. Neither had children. In 2011, Audrey, who was in her late 80s, passed away. Jack died at the age of 90 in March 2015. With both owners deceased and no heirs, the Newtons' items were to be auctioned off. That's when the auction house discovered that Grange Farm had, for the most part, been left untouched for 75 years. Inside the house, there were over 500 antiques. These included the original cupboards, beds, sinks, kitchen utensils, and an old-style television set, as well as jewelry, an organ with sheet music from the 1920s, and loads of board games. After auctioning off all the items, the house went up for sale with the asking price of £600,000. Number 4. Worksop, Nottinghamshire, UK. Untouched since 1932. The semi-detached home, pictured here, was built in 1905. William Straw, a successful grocery store owner, and his family lived in the house until 1932, when William suddenly died. In their grief, the family decided to leave the house as it was. This included leaving William's tobacco and pipe where he last hung it. Even the calendar still says 1932. The family held on to the house until 1990. After that, William's last surviving son died, and the house was left to the National Trust for Places of Historic Interest or Natural Beauty. They opened the home to the public in 1993, 61 years after it was last used. Number 3. Paddington, New South Wales, Australia. Untouched since 1915. This two-bedroom workers' cottage in Paddington, Australia, had been owned by one family who held on to it for over 100 years. The only upgrade is that at some point, probably in the 1970s, a fridge was placed in the cottage. However, besides the fridge, nothing in the house has been changed since 1915. It doesn't have a washroom, but the good news is that the house is furnished with antique bedpans. In March 2015, the house sold for £1.2 million. That's really good considering the original owners only spent £400 and clearly didn't shell out much on renovations. Number 2. Los Angeles, California, USA. Untouched since 1909. The arts and crafts movement was an aesthetic movement that emerged out of England at the end of the 19th century. The spirit behind the movement was a new appreciation of decorative art. Built in 1909, this home in the Victoria Park neighborhood of Los Angeles is an amazing example of the arts and crafts style. While there are other arts and crafts style homes in the neighborhood, very few remain intact in their original form like this one does. Notably, it has all of the original light fixtures, trim, a leaded glass china cabinet, and stained glass windows. There are even the original murals, and it has a turret. For this time capsule, with the listing describing it as a fixer-upper, the owners were looking for $720,000. Number 1. Paris, France. Untouched since 1942. In 1942, the Nazis were invading France. As they advanced, a 23-year-old woman, known only in the media as Madame de Florian, grabbed some personal items in a Persian apartment. She locked the door and fled to the south of France. She lived out the rest of her life there and died in 2010 at the age of 91. That was when her family started going through her possessions and found out that, much like people in their gym membership, Madame de Florian never stopped paying for her apartment. She also never set foot in it again after she fled. So her family went into the apartment and unlocked it for the first time in 70 years. While everything was covered in dust, it appeared to be exactly the way she'd left it. Amazingly, the surprises didn't end there. Inside the apartment, they found a never-before-seen painting by Giovanni Boldini, a famed 19th century Italian artist. The painting sold at auction in 2014 for $3.4 million. So I really hope you found that video interesting. If you did, please do hit that thumbs up button below. Do not forget to subscribe. Brand new videos just like this every day of the week. For more from me, why not check out another channel I do called Geographics? We cover places on that channel, so if you liked this topic, you might like that channel, which I'm linking to below. And thank you for watching.